When things are going wrong, it's always for some reason looked at like it's the man's fault. He did something wrong. He's the reason why he's not there, or this and that. Sometimes the man gets driven out of the situation, whether he makes that decision or he's really pushed out.
Okay.
But it never gets looked at. What did he have to deal with? Even when every time, even if there's an abuse or a fight or a domestic situation, people hate to look at it from a real perspective.
I'm sorry, I don't think a man or I don't think there's a relationship. I'm not even going to just say a man, because woman, I'm going to say this because now that I'm older and I see we've never been physical with each other, first of all, but I have noticed that a lot of physical things start from the woman. A lot, because a woman will hit the man or push them or do certain things to them, and then when they eventually be like, yo, stop pushing them back and getting them away, and they have to hit them or push them, everyone takes the woman's side, even though they don't realize the woman was hitting, jumping, doing all this stuff to them. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying, when a man reacts, whether he puts his hand on her, or he might smash something or flip anything, it's always looked at like he's out of control, and that's not acceptable. Yeah. But I always say, if this person, now there's a difference. There are some men who's just, they're violent, they're
abusers,
right, and it is what it is. But most guys who are not like that, I always say, if something happened, what put them in that position? What made them react that way? I say the same thing with women. I say the same thing, period, in situations. If you're not known for doing that, then clearly
you came out of character for a reason.
So how did you get there?
Yeah.
And that can't be overlooked. And that's something with society, people won't address that.
Okay.
So my thing is, you have to look at situations, and there has to be equal amounts of accountability. You cannot always say to a man, you should have just walked away, or you should have done this, or you should have done that. You should have taken all of the abuse, whether physically, verbally, or whatever,
from a woman, and
just deal with it and walk away and not react, not get upset, not do anything.
I can understand getting upset. My thing is that I always feel like if a woman hits a man, it's not the same thing as a man hitting a woman. You guys are stronger. But what
does that mean, though? But is that,
what does it mean?
But does it mean if a man's being attacked, what is he supposed to do?
Defend himself.
If a man gets hit, what is he supposed to do? Now, it doesn't matter. See, this is a universal thing. It doesn't matter who's stronger.
I think it matters.
It doesn't.
Okay.
If a smaller woman walks up to you, another grown woman, but she's smaller than you, and she punches you in her face,
I'm going to punch her right back. I don't care how tall or how big or how small she is.
Okay.
So I kind of get it, but it's still a man hitting a smaller woman. That's not the same, because your strength.
It has nothing to do with the strength. It's about respect. Hold on. So what society says is a woman does not have to have enough restraint within herself to hit someone else. But when she hits that person or does whatever to push his buttons, he is still not supposed to react. Now, do you teach your son that? Go out into the world, let this man that's smaller than you punch you in your face, beat you up, rob you, disrespect your mother, and you do nothing because this person's smaller?
Yeah.
Where else in the world does that make sense? So within that same guideline, that means that the woman can do anything. Let's say she's not even hitting you, but let's say it's just setting an example of she can do anything to you, and you're supposed to take it.
Right.
You are not supposed to defend yourself.
I understand defending yourself and holding the person and stopping, right? And stopping what you're I understand. First of all, I don't think a woman should hit a man, because if you don't want the man to bust you up, don't put your hands on them. That's like a really big deal. I don't, you and I have never done it, and that's just because of the respect. But if you have to get so mad and come out of character that you feel like you have to see your man and punch him in the face, or you as a man have to hit your woman because you're totally out of character, then there's something seriously wrong with that relationship. However, I still don't agree with a man hitting a woman. I think a man should walk away. If the woman is acting stupid, run away, get away from them, or hold them, keep them away from you. I mean, but women can get wild though. It's kind of, you know what? I can't really relate to that because the thought of even being physical with you is
hold on.
Okay.
So let me ask you this.
What?
Again, it goes back to, where is the personal responsibility?
I think that woman, if you don't want to get hit or be in that situation, control yourself and keep your hands to yourself. I do believe that. I do believe women need to take responsibility for their temperament with their man and have respect for the person they're with. Here's another thing. I've
seen women pick up objects and hit men with.
Glosses.
Right?
Yes.
So even in those situations, okay, first of all, you can't say that because a woman is smaller than you and not as strong as you, that if she's hitting you, it doesn't hurt.
Okay.
That's one thing. So people forget, not only does physically and emotionally it hurts, but you're being attacked, you're being assaulted. That whole thing gets tossed out. People don't look at it as you're assaulting this man, you're attacking him, you're beating him, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
It just gets minimized. Oh, she's smaller than you. So it's like, oh, it doesn't hurt. Just take it. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
It's still wrong either way.
I agree with that.
You can't say that the man who's defending himself in a situation or just reacts. So let's say the woman slaps the man and he reacts and slaps her back. It's a split-second reaction.
Right.
You're not even thinking.
Right.
How do you say he's wrong? You should have never put your hands on him.
And I guess that's where the problem is, where there is a separation between man and woman. Because if a woman hits a man, it's not looked at the same way if a man hits a woman, even if the woman attacked him first. Right. And they have to do everything they can to get away from the guy.
There's no universal accountability.
No, there's not.
Here's other things that I've seen, and this doesn't get spoken about. I've been in a situation where a woman wouldn't let me leave. She's literally blocking the door. She's 6 feet tall like I am. She wasn't a small woman. I'm literally being held hostage or captive. That's what that is. Now, if you think that's a joke, let a man do that. Let a woman say I'm leaving, and the man stands by the door and say you're not going nowhere. Okay. He can literally be arrested for holding her hostage. That's kidnapping. So wait. So why, when in the opposite situation, it's okay? So in that situation, there was nobody there to help me.
Right.
There was nobody there I can call. There was nobody there to assist me.
And then, you could have knocked her out if you needed to.
Right. But listen, what happened is I ended up having to wrestle her away from the door so that I can get out. Now that in itself, what does a woman got you in trouble? Yes, because what does a woman start doing? She starts yelling, screaming. She starts making noise, and then people hear you guys wrestling. You hear her screaming, and then what happens? It's no matter what happens, it's he was doing something to her. And then at that point, do you think if somebody comes running, do you think usually she's going to say, no, it was me. I wasn't allowing him to leave. And he had no choice after 40 minutes yanking me away from the door. And I was still resisting. You're right. So it got physical. Right. What kind of change do you think needs to be done? Do you think that it needs to be an even? Wait. Okay, go ahead. First of all, this is my thing in this situation. At that situation, I was already at that point when that happened that I was done. And that's why I was leaving. Right. And I was like, it's over. I wasn't accepting certain things. Right. And that's why she wasn't letting me leave. Oh, okay. Okay. So once I left, that was it. She knew that was it. Yeah. But one thing, people don't set their standards where it's like, all right, this is too much. I'm out. Yeah. They keep going back. Yeah. But at the same time, what if either I was a different person or it just didn't work. At some point, I might have had to hurt her. I might have had to body slam her or throw her in a headlock or a chokehold. That part gets overlooked. So now, God, I'm glad that I don't do this. Hold on. So under that circumstance, right? Again, she was just as tall as me. and she had size on her. So technically, let's just say we're the same size. Now, even if she's not physically as strong as me, a woman that big is strong.
It's strong. Okay.
So now think about that situation. If she was to cock back and punch me in the face, you think that's not going to hurt? You think she doesn't have the ability to not? Think about your mother. Your mother's tall.
Sure. Let's not talk about my mother.
So think about someone that size. If she goes off in a rage, you think she can't beat up a man?
Okay. My mom is 6 feet.
So under those situations, whether she's attacking a man, let's say she's with a man that's smaller than her, and she's going off on him. Now in that situation, what is the man supposed to do? In that situation, he's literally fighting for his life because she could literally kill him. Because at that point, it's not about man and woman. It's about size and strength.
Yeah. Okay.
And if somebody's physically bigger than you, they're usually physically stronger than you.
Sometimes.
Right. But usually, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If the woman is physically bigger and weighs more,
okay,
she's probably stronger than
Well,
him.
we've seen people like that online that beat the crap. They're bigger women beating the crap out of their man.
So another thing, I had a neighbor back in the days. I used to watch them. They'd get into it. She would do all types of shit. She'd back him down with a knife. She'd be beating on him, and he never, ever did anything. She brutalized this man repeatedly, and he never did anything. The average person is not going to go for all of that. So at some point, I even watched her. He was leaving. She took something and threw it through. This is why I told you. This is why I always close the sunroof. Because I always think of if something falls and hits it, whether it's a tree branch or something, the thing cracking, and the glass coming through. She threw something out at his car and cracked it didn't shatter it, but it cracked the sunroof.
Wow.
All he was trying to do was leave.
Yeah.
And so my thing is, there's situations that people don't like to acknowledge.
Yeah.
And in that situation, if he would have hit her after being stabbed and kicked down the stairs and all this shit, what do you expect?
Well, you know what's so funny? There's okay, so there's a girl that was abusive to her guy, right? So what they would do is, for whatever reason, she found out something about the guy, right? And she went to his house, and she decided they got into a little something, and she stabbed him, like in his spleen or whatever. At least that's what I was told, that she stabbed him. Now, their relationship has been unhealthy for like forever, right? And she stabs him. He's in the hospital, but for some reason they got back together, right? I don't know. I'm only hearing one side of the story, and I'm hearing that side from someone that is a liar. So I don't exactly know how the whole story goes, but I have heard of women actually stabbing or shooting or whatever the man because they got into something. My thing is that, why go back into that relationship if it's so abusive with the woman?
The same reason why women do it.
Because, like,
there are all types of reasons, but it's some
insecurity.
It's some emotional issue where you keep going back to that situation. You keep going back.
Yeah.
It's something wrong with that person.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Men do the same shit. Men are at times attracted to toxic relationships and people. And at the same time, men also, the same way women do, they try to hold out thinking, okay, maybe this person's going to change.
Yeah.
Because they probably really want to be with that person.
Right.
Now, another thing, what I've seen a lot, where this same particular person I was talking about, he had a kid with this woman. So a lot of times men will put up with shit to be there for their kid.
Right.
And we've seen that with different people.
Yeah, and
But
that's
that never gets addressed.
Yeah.
So even in those situations where you see the men going through certain stuff, and people will say, yo, you an idiot.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
But you don't realize he's staying there for his kid.
He also, you know what I wonder? I wonder if, I've always wondered this question, if sometimes a guy said he's not leaving because of his kids, right? And sometimes they have a whole relationship outside of it. I wonder if is it because he doesn't trust the woman alone with the kid, or it's just because he just wants to be there?
It's both. If you know sometimes they know the woman's not right. She might really have some issues. They know that. So it's like, I can't just leave you with the kid.
Yeah.
But it's that plus a person that is a real father. He wants to be there for his kid, period.
Yeah.
He knows he needs to be there.
Yeah.
So again, that part always gets overlooked.
Right.
This is why I always say to you, when you see men go into court, even I've seen domestic fights where the man is beating up the woman, fighting her, overseeing his kid. And people always like, yo, see, that's why you don't need to see your kids. No, if the man wasn't passionate about being a father, he wouldn't be fighting
and arguing with
the
woman.
And the whole reason why he's in that situation is because she's restricting his access to see his kids and to be a father.
Okay, and I think...
Wait. So a deadbeat is never going to be in a situation where he's fighting the woman over a kid. He's arguing with the woman over the kid. He's repeatedly saying and begging, let me see my kids. He's not going to be going back and forth to court fighting a custody battle or getting partial visitation if he's a deadbeat. But it always gets twisted like he's a deadbeat. But no man who's a deadbeat is going to fight for their kids.
You know what's so funny is that I grew up. My mom was always like this strong, powerful. I'm the woman. I know how to hold everything down, which she did, right? And we'd never been in a situation where the guy didn't want to. She would stop someone from being with their kid, seeing their kid, and I think that a lot of women do it. And please, if any woman out there say I'm wrong, I haven't been in this situation. I believe a woman behaves like that sometimes if the guy has cheated and left you for another woman. If let me see, if they're mad about something, usually I think it's sometimes about cheating, or if they leave you for another woman or something like that, and they use the kids against them. It's not because they're a bad father. It's just because they're not with them anymore. I know this, and this is from people, I've seen it. They're not around, the man and them is not together anymore. They did not break up on good terms, so they hold the kids against them. That's just damn wrong. That is wrong. When it comes to, I have to say this about women. If you're doing that, cut that crap out, or just find something else to do with yourself. If you and the guy does not get along, but this guy is a good father and this guy wants to be there for their child, it's not about you. It's not about you. You guys are no longer together. It's about that kid. And that makes me so upset. And that's why I know who you're talking about. That's one of the things that I admire him for, is that he was fighting for his kid, but it got to a point where, he has a new family now, and he still was fighting for his kid, but he still wasn't winning that battle. It was just so much, and he wanted to be a part of the kid's life, and the woman still did everything and complained about everything, even though he wanted to be there and he was trying to be there. You get what I'm saying? So I just feel like why do women do that? Because I couldn't think about doing that. It's because I honestly can say, from a woman's perspective, I feel like they're being selfish. Yes, if that's you, change your damn ways. I feel like they're being selfish, right? And I feel like it's not about the kids at all. It's about them.
Yeah, it is.
But they're not with you anymore. It doesn't mean that they don't want to be with their kid.
Right.
That's not fair.
That's the way they use to, as a control method.
Right.
It's a way they use to get back at the guy.
Right.
That's how they use it to hurt the guy.
That.
They know if the guy. See, this is another thing. You can't use that as a way to hurt the guy if the guy doesn't care.
Right.
So again, that's something that gets overlooked.
Okay.
If the guy cares and he wants to be a father or a parent,
How you gonna stop that? Why all of a sudden? Well, you know what? Honestly, if it's an abusive guy, and we're not on that, but let me just throw that out there. If the guy is abusive and the woman is concerned about her kids being with this guy, that's when I can understand.
But there's still a slightly, and I gotta say, every situation is different.
Different, right?
Sometimes, and I gotta preface this because people are not gonna hear me. Sometimes. Even if the guy is abusive towards the woman, it has nothing to do with the way he is towards his kids.
Right, because sometimes they say the kid, I'm not sorry to cut you. Sometimes they say, does your dad hit you? Does he do that? And they'd be like, no, he doesn't.
Right.
But some people are come out with their relationship comes out of character.
Right.
And it's between them. It's not the kids.
Right.
But go ahead.
And a lot of times it's their toxic ways.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, again, not every situation, but I'm talking about things that I've seen. There's times when the guy may be abusive, but it's a product of their collective relationship. That means she does things, whether it's physically or verbally, to push his buttons. I've seen women countlessly over times say the foulest, most
I've seen it
things,
too.
And they know it's going to set him off.
It's going to hurt,
and they won't stop until they get a reaction.
Yeah.
And they'll push, and they'll do it just to get that negative reaction.
And then when they get the negative reaction, what they do, they're playing the victim.
And then they're trying to slander this guy and say, see, he's a bad guy, he's this and that.